Heather. I'm currently working at Unilever as a product development technologist in the ice cream team. And I did a 4-year MSci course at the University of Birmingham with a year in industry. So I did my year in industry was at a company called Reckitt Benckiser, where I spent a year developing candles and reed diffusers. And then when I left university, I got a role at Unilever. Obviously, not quite the same type of FMCG. We've gone more in the food direction, but yeah, that's where I am now. So we started applying for placements at the beginning of second year, about November time-ish, and I remember applying for a lot of different placements from AstraZeneca. I think I applied to Kellogg's as well. And so you do all these applications and you get support along the way. So we had quite a few meetings with Mary Jane and quite a few kind of sessions about how to develop your CV and write a cover letter and things like that. And I think from those, I think it was 13 or 14 or so applications, I ended up getting 2 live face-to-face interviews and then 1 role at RB. And so while I was there, it was very much a 9-to-5 job with the extra added bonus of having your lectures to do alongside. So I think while I was there, my manager was fantastic. And in fact, I got an afternoon off a week dedicated to university work. So I did a lot of the lectures and project work in that half day, plus a few extra bits in the evenings. And so while I was there, I think we got a couple of visits from Mary Jane, 2 I think, and she came along, met my manager, had a bit of a tour of my workplace, and overall, yeah, I felt really supported, and there was always people to ask if ever I had any questions. I wouldn't have got this role so quickly, and I wouldn't say easily, it wasn't exactly an easy process, but I got this role even before graduation. So I applied actually when I was studying for exams, which probably wasn't the wisest thing to do. But yeah, and I interviewed, and I think honestly it was my year in industry experience that made me stand out against everybody else. I think, in my interview, it was all the questions were about how you develop a product, and I know candles to ice cream isn't exactly the same, but you can take every single part of that and apply it in the interview questions that they gave me. So yeah, I think the role that I'm in now and the speed at which I got it after graduation was wholly down to the fact that I had a year in industry kind of in my pocket.
The coordinator of the Chemistry with Industrial Experience programme. So that's one of our 4-year MSci programmes where year 3 is an integrated year where students go out on placement. So my role as coordinator is pretty much to help our students secure placements for that year. So we spend some time in year 1 and year 2 helping students work on their CVs, their application letters, their interview technique. We then have lots of placement applications in year 2, which we help our students submit. Then things like interview practice. And then when they're actually out on placement in year 3, my main role is to give them support out on placement, to go and visit them on their companies, see what their projects are like, and to basically coordinate that part of the program. Opportunities, it's a bit of a range really. So we have a number of companies that will contact us directly and ask for us to put prospective students forward. So GSK, for example, is one, Roche is another. We then have other companies that might just forward their general adverts to us, and we will link students up in that way. So it's a bit of a mixture really. We have contacts at some of the big pharmaceutical companies that you're familiar with, so GSK, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Roche, and then we have other links with companies in the polymer industry, the materials industry as well. There's actually more than one answer to that question, I think. So it's always really exciting when we get students placed on projects that are outside the UK. So we've had students on placements in Switzerland. We've got a student going to Gothenburg in Sweden this year, and we've had students going to Shanghai in the Netherlands before. But I think I'm going to choose one a little bit closer to home. So I think one of the most unusual was one a couple of years ago where we had a student going to Molson Coors in Burton, which is quite close to Birmingham. And his project involved the filtration of beer, which was a very chemistry focused project. But as well as doing the project, he also managed to walk away with a brewing certificate at the end of his placement. Two main parts that I think are the best part of the role. So one of those is helping the students secure the placements in the first place. So one of the most exciting parts of the job is when the student comes along to me and says, hey, you won't believe it, I've got this placement. I've just had an email, I've just had a phone call. And it's such a tangible feel of excitement, not just for the student, but for me as well. So that's one part. The other part is a little bit later when the students come back in their year 3 to give a presentation about their talk. So all the year 3s come back, all their industrial supervisors come along, all the prospective students in year 1 and year 2 come along to listen to their project talks. And the really exciting bit is to see how much our year 3 students have matured and progressed and developed and made the most of their placement experience. They almost come back to the university at that time as different people who developed so much and gained so much confidence in the projects that they've had. So I'd say both of those parts, and by far the most interesting part of my role.